Hello, you're watching the English News Bulletin on QPVN channel. I'm Chung Nguyen, and now let me keep you up to date with the headlines. Vietnam discusses roadmap for national growth. Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia joined a search and rescue exercise to be held. Vietnam's GDP in the third quarter estimatedly increases by 8.23%. On October the 6th, at the Party Central Committee headquarters, Party General Secretary Tu Lam chaired the 13th plenum of the 13th Party Central Committee. The opening session was presided over by President Lương Cường. Attending the conference were Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn, and permanent member of the Secretariat Trần Cẩm Tú. The conference held from October the 6th to the 8th focuses on preparations for the 14th National Party Congress, socio-economic development, Politburo activities since the 12th plenum, and key personnel matters. At the opening session, General Secretary Tu Lam noted that socio-economic indicators for the first 9 months have exceeded those in the same period in 2024. The two-tier local government model is functioning smoothly, and public services are improving with a citizen and business-centered approach. National master planning is fostering regional synergy and unlocking new competitive advantages. 7 strategic Politburo resolutions over the past year have laid the groundwork for sustainable growth, social stability, and progress towards the party's long-term development goals.
Với bản lĩnh, trí tuệ,
With resilience and innovation, we've effectively navigated political challenges, trade shifts, supply chain disruptions, and other crises. The party has remained steadfast, steering the nation forward to meet and surpass the goals set by the 13th National Party Congress. With a deep sense of responsibility to the party and the people, General Secretary Tu Lam urged Central Committee members to lead by example, work efficiently, uphold discipline, avoid delays, and commit to action, say what we do what we say, to ensure the 13th plenum achieves real results and paves the way for the 14th National Party Congress. In the face of the negative impacts of severe weather with storm upon storm, the armed forces of Tuyên Quang province have promptly implemented responsive measures, both focusing on overcoming the aftermath of storm number 10 and proactively preparing for upcoming storms. Yên Minh and Vị Xuyên communes, along with Hà Giang wards 1 and 2, have been heavily flooded for days due to Storm Bua Loi. Hundreds of officers and soldiers from Tuyên Quang Armed Forces are on site, assisting residents with recovery efforts. Meanwhile, the Provincial Military Command has proactively launched preparedness plans for Storm Mat Mo, following the 4-on-the-spot approach. High-risk areas are being reviewed to ensure timely evacuation if needed.
Để giảm thiểu được
To minimize the risk of overlapping storms in the area, we first strictly adhere to directives and urgent notices from the military region and the Ministry of National Defense. We provide timely advice to local authorities, develop thorough and realistic plans, mobilize all available forces and equipment, and maintain round-the-clock readiness to respond to any arising situation. After the storms pass, they leave behind loss, grief, and destruction. Yet in hardship, the people are never alone. The timely presence of the military has become a reliable source of support for those in disaster-stricken areas. On October the 6th in Cebu City, the Philippines, the Philippine Coast Guard held a welcoming ceremony for the Vietnam Coast Guard ship 8002 and its working delegation, who were on an official visit to exchange and share experience with the Philippine Coast Guard. After a journey of more than 1,100 nautical miles, Vietnam Coast Guard ship 8002 arrived at the port of Cebu City, the Philippines, at 9 a.m. local time on October the 6th. This is the second time the Vietnam Coast Guard has sent a ship and working delegation to visit and exchange with the Philippine Coast Guard. The Philippines Coast Guard held a warm and solemn welcoming ceremony for Vietnam Coast Guard ship 8002, reflecting the close friendship and cooperation between the two forces. Presiding over the ceremony, the commander of the Visayas Central Area welcomed the Vietnamese delegation and expressed hope that the visit would further strengthen the friendship between the two sides and contribute to building a peaceful, secure, and sustainable maritime region. After the welcoming ceremony, the Philippine Coast Guard delegation visited the Vietnam Coast Guard ship 8002. The same day, the Vietnam Coast Guard delegation paid courtesy calls on the governor and mayor of Cebu City, as well as the commander of the Central Visayas region. Cebu leaders and the Central Visayas commanders thanked the Vietnam Coast Guard for the goodwill, hoping the visit would further strengthen friendship, cooperation, and mutual trust between the two forces. The training for Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia joint search and rescue exercise in 2025, hosted by the Ministry of National Defense of Laos, kicked off in Vientiane on October the 6th. Lieutenant General Sache Komasit, Deputy Defense Minister of Laos, Chief of the General Staff of the Lao People's Army, chaired the opening ceremony. The training period takes place on the Nam Huom River in Narsai Phom District, Vientiane, Laos, featuring different scenarios and such contents as rescuing flood-swept victims and search and rescue in collapsed buildings. Assigned by the Ministry of National Defense of Vietnam, Military Region 4 Command presides over, coordinates with relevant agencies, and sent 145 officers and soldiers representing the Vietnam People's Army to participate in the exercise. The joint exercise is an important milestone in strengthening the increasingly close cooperative relationship between the militaries of Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia, helping improve knowledge, skills, and capabilities in responding to natural disasters and catastrophes. After more than a year of deployment to the UN peacekeeping missions, Vietnam's Level 2 Field Hospital Rotation 6 and Engineering Company Rotation 3 have successfully completed their international mission. The day of return in the joy of reunion is also an opportunity to look back at the remarkable impressions that the forces have left on the field. In remote areas of Africa, over the past year, Vietnamese peacekeepers have completed their international task, leaving many good impressions on local friends and people. Life-saving surgeries in the field, road and bridge constructions that bring trust and close ties with the community have affirmed bravery, intelligence, and responsibility of the Vietnamese Blue Beret troops. These achievements have been highly praised by the United Nations, contributing to raising the country's prestige and position in the international arena.
And for peacekeepers to do their job without any worry, with a feeling of security and confidence that there is a highly professional team of doctors who would take care of them, that's the service that Vietnam Level 2 is providing to the peacekeepers. It provides them confidence and security that quality healthcare is available right at the place where they are working in Vinh Thu. So Vietnam Level 2 hospital's contribution is immense.
And now if you go to the market or if you go to the street, you tell them, even kids, they know Vietnam more than anyone. It's like the mission is for Vietnam, but the mission is multi-nation, but mostly. And the most people, the community knows, is the Vietnam people. They are friend to people, they are very brothers, and they are working without barriers.
The long journey ended in the joy on the day of return. The hugs and bright smiles were the greatest rewards for the unsung efforts of Vietnamese peacekeepers at the mission. The work the Vietnamese soldiers have done on the field and the joy of returning home once again affirms Vietnam as an active, responsible, and humane member of the international community. And from here, the peacekeeping journey continues with new personnel from the next deployed units. Coming up next, Vietnam's GDP in the third quarter estimatedly increases by 8.23%. Vietnam's first unicorn lion dragon dance museum opens in Da Nang. According to the General Statistics Office, the country's GDP in the third quarter of 2025 is estimated to increase by 8.23% compared to the same period last year. In the first 9 months of this year, GDP increased by 7.85%, showing the economy's bounce back, of which the industrial and construction sector increased by nearly 8.7%. Contributing the most to the overall growth with a focus on the processing, manufacturing and construction industries. Remaining the major driving force of the national economy, the service sector increased by nearly 8.5%, thanks to the strong recovery of domestic consumption, tourism and trade. The agriculture, forestry and fisheries sector increased by 3.83%, despite the adverse impacts of recent storms and floods. Party General Secretary Reup emphasized that a prosperous economy cannot rely solely on the state sector or foreign investment. It must be grounded in strong internal capacity, with the dynamic private sector leading the way in innovation and national development. His statement highlights a clear shift in perspectives. The private sector is no longer just a part of the economy. It is a core pillar of Vietnam's future growth and transformation in this new era. Today, the private sector is rising strongly, contributing around 50% of GDP, 56% of total social investment, over 30% of state budget revenue, and most notably, creating more than 82% of jobs. It has become a key driving force of national economic growth, fueled by ambition and vision for the future. Our aspiration is to awaken the desire to rise, just as General Secretary Reup said, as the country rises, so must our businesses. We ourselves must turn our aspirations into reality. To do that, we must unite and build an ecosystem of mutual support. As Vietnam enters a new stage of development, aiming to become a developed country by 2045, the role of the private sector becomes more vital than ever. Private enterprises are expected to be the main drivers of innovation and transformation. Private enterprises like ours have worked hard to shift mindsets and embrace digital transformation, aiming for proactive growth. However, we also need more supportive and transparent policies. Following Resolution 68, we hope for clear, timely guidelines to effectively implement the party's directions and foster private sector development. With strong support from the state, Vietnam's private sector stands at a historic crossroads, ready to affirm its pioneering role in the country's development journey. It will serve as a crucial foundation to help Vietnam accelerate its path towards becoming a developed economy by 2045. On October the 6th, Sun World Ba Na Hills Tourist Complex in Da Nang City opened the first Unicorn Lion Dragon Dance Art Museum in Vietnam to serve tourists. With an area of nearly 1,500 square meters, this is a project to honor the art of unicorn, lion, dragon dances, a traditional folk performance deeply rooted in Vietnam culture. This art form has long been associated with festivals, Lunar New Year celebrations, and grand openings, carrying wishes of prosperity and good fortune. Its inauguration during the Mid-Autumn Festival adds symbolic significance, as this is a time when unicorn, lion, and dragon dances are especially prominent in people's spiritual life. The museum project was implemented with the desire to contribute to touting traditional Vietnamese culture to domestic and international tourists. It will become a new cultural highlight in Da Nang, thereby preserving and spreading the value of Vietnamese folk art to the community and foreign tourists. And that's all for now. Remember, you can always watch news again at qpvn.vn. Well, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.